Hey everybody, this is Rob Wilson, your Art of Breath co-founder and your head coach for PSE Breathe. And I just want to talk to you guys today about kind of a buzzword going around, and that is recovery. And maybe like 5, maybe a little bit more, like 10 years ago, functional was the buzzword going around in the fitness and health community, and it was sort of the thing that everybody was saying to catch attention. And now there's a wave of interest in this thing called recovery, and I think that's really good because it means overall people are paying more attention to how their training is ultimately going to affect them. But I think it's really important that we define the word recovery in the context of our training, especially so that we can know what we mean if we want to move towards a better thought process overall. And so when we say recovery, or we have to ask, what are we recovering from? And that can be any stress at all. Now, specifically when we're talking about training stress, that is a stress that we're putting on our bodies on purpose. Now, human beings are the only animals that will purposefully put ourselves under a specific type of stress in order to get a specific reaction. That is what training means. Now, what's really, really important here is that often we don't consider what's going on under the hood when we look at how stressors that we put on ourselves affect our behavior, our performance, and ultimately our recovery. And so when we say, hey, are you recovered, or am I recovered or not, what we're really talking about is, have my systems return to some sort of baseline, and am I adapting well? And those are actually over 2 different timelines. So one is in the short term, have my systems return to some sort of baseline so that I can train again, or at least take on a new stressor that's temporary in nature. And then over the arc of a longer time period, chronically, we can mean recovery in the sense that, is my system over time recovering enough to get the kind of adaptations that I'm predicting from the type of stressors that I'm putting on my body? Now, what's really important here is to understand that your body doesn't know the difference between a stressor that you decided to put on it on purpose and a stressor that just happened to be put on you from the environment. And that can be stressors from the weather and being outside, all the way to, hey, I had a rough day at work, or I'm having some social issues. The most basic fundamental wiring that governs the way that we react to these stressors is the same. Now, of course, there are some differences, like the way my muscles respond to an argument with my loved ones is not going to be the same as if I do a whole bunch of squats, right? It's a little bit different, but on the most fundamental brain and neurology and hormone level, it is the same. And it's important to realize that when we want to take into context the total amount of stress being put on the organism, and then therefore what kind of reaction we can predict as a result. In other words, recovery is about adaptation. And if we want to get the most out of our training, we have to make sure that we're adapting well to the stressors that we're putting on ourselves, and that a fundamental goal of training should be to increase adaptability. All right? So, hope that was helpful for you guys. See you next time.